Hello, dear children. Hope you all are studying at home, right? Such good students. Day and night, you're studying so well, making use of your time judiciously, wisely. Good, very good. Yes. Now coming back to your text, we started with the Constitution, right? In the previous class, page number 263, we have discussed the purpose of Constitution, and as per your text, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points are being mentioned under the purpose of Constitution. We have discussed the first four. Let us discuss today the remaining five, and then also the other topics as well. I hope and I do believe that you all are really, you know, working hard at home, making use of this time in the best possible way, so that later on you don't have to repent, you don't have to regret, right? So please study at home properly. Hmm? Okay, let us see the next point under purpose of Constitution. The Constitution seeks to establish social justice and the rule of law. This means that in a democratic country, all the citizens are treated equally and they have equal rights. Underline that. This means in a democratic country, okay, all the citizens are treated equally and they have equal rights. The laws of the country are same for everyone. No person is above the law just because of his, her caste or religion. Okay, that's the next purpose of the Constitution. They make sure that in the society everybody gets justice, social justice. All right, and also when it comes to the rule of law, how does they make sure this? They make sure this as because the laws of the country, as per the Constitution, is being defined that it is same for every citizen, okay, every person, and nobody is above law, on especially on the basis of this, what do you call, just because of his or her caste or religion. That's the next purpose. Next, however, the Constitution mentions some special privileges for certain backward sections of the society so that they can be at par with the mainstream. All right, certain special privileges. In layman's term, if I define you, the reservation system that we have. So these are called certain special privileges, and the reason being mentioned out here that why, as because since they are already these backward sections of the society, so because of this backward sections of the society, they give this privileges so that they can be at par, they can be at the same level, okay, with the mainstream society, with the mainstream sections of the people. And that is the reason that the Constitution gives certain privileges for some backward sections of the society, okay, so that everybody, we all can be at an equal level. There must not be any kind of differences among us. That's the reason. Next comes, the Constitution gives some fundamental rights to every citizen of the country, and nobody can violate these laws. Nobody. I, you, each one of us, we have got some fundamental rights, and nobody can hamper, you know can interfere or can take away those fundamental rights from you, from me. And that is what the Constitution says. Next, the Constitution defines the process of framing law of the country, another most important thing. Now, supposingly a new law has to be brought into place or needs to be implemented, a law has to be, then what happens is that it is not so simple that today, if I am a particular, say I'm at a particular position, so as per my own wish I can just structure a law, I can make a law. Not that. There is a particular proper process for it, okay, for framing law. And in order to frame law, that process need to be followed. Then only the law can be framed. Okay. Next, the Constitution abolishes unjust and discriminatory practices such as untouchability and female foeticide. All right. Now, there are some practices which which existed in our society, all right, which existed and which are very wrong. So the Constitution says those practices, okay, which are inappropriate for a society, for for the human being, those practices cannot be continued. And if anybody is found following or practicing such type of what do you call practices, then he or she will be punished as per the law of the land. All right, that is another purpose of the Constitution. Next, we have the drafting of Constitution. The Constitution was framed by the Constituent Assembly, underline. So, even though I think you might have come across that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is considered to be as the father of the Constitution, but however, it was framed by a group of people, a Constituent Assembly. Okay, there was a team. Its members were elected by the members of the provincial legislative assemblies. When India gained independence, the Constituent Assembly served as the first parliament. Underline that as well. When India gained independence, the Constituent Assembly served as the first parliament. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was chosen to head the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly. So he was leading the drafting committee, which was formed in August 1947. The drafting committee took 3 years to complete the task of framing the Constitution. On 26 January 1950, the Constitution was formally adopted. So we all know that. And that as a result, we celebrate this Republic Day, right? So let me just tell you the key points under this topic. First of all, Constitution was framed by Constituent Assembly. Secondly, when India gained independence, it was the Constituent Assembly which served as the first parliament. Third, B.R. Ambedkar was chosen as the head of the drafting committee. Fourth, it took 3 years for the drafting committee to complete the Constitution, and on 26 January 1950, it was adopted. All right. Next, the features of Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India aims to establish a secular, sovereign, democratic society for the citizen. It is the longest constitution in the world, with more than 400 articles, and it is divided into 12 schedules. Underline that. It is the longest constitution in the world, with more than 400 articles, and divided into 12 schedules. The Constitution has been amended many times since it was adopted. Amended, changes brought in, okay, or you can say modified. There have been more than 100 amendments to it. Let us look at some of the special features of the Constitution. The very first thing, that's Preamble. The Preamble is an introduction to the Constitution. It highlights the values and principles of the Constitution. It also mentions the objective that the Constitution seeks to achieve. This whole paragraph is important. What is a Preamble? It's basically when we start a chapter. Before the starting of a chapter, there is a introduction, right? There is a preface, overview of the entire chapter. Likewise, you can say the Preamble is the preface, the overview of the Constitution. Okay, it tells us the main values and highlights the Constitution, and it also tells us this about the objective of the Constitution and what the Constitution wants to achieve. See in page number 264, figure 1.2, the Preamble is being mentioned out here. I want each one of you, it will be included for your exam, okay, to memorize this Preamble the way it is written, keeping in mind the punctuation, because punctuation plays a very important role. If you miss out one punctuation, or if you place it somewhere else in a wrong place, in a wrong position, the meaning changes. So the way it is being mentioned out here, you have to memorize the entire preamble, all right, by heart. So next, this some of the special features of the Constitution. That is, one is the preamble. Next, we have sovereignty. Preamble. We'll keep it up with this much today, up to this preamble. Okay. Uh, Page number 264 up to figure 1.2. I'll mark it preamble. I have asked you to memorize. It's important. Included for your examination. By heart, memorize. Alright, go to the text. The remaining we will discuss in the next class. Study well.